As I was saying, I flipped them over because they're going out. He's looking at the picture. It's a classic. Don't do, isn't it? So I flipped it over, so at least it looks like there's looking into the picture. I haven't put anything on the back. It could be, in the horizon yet. But I'll think about that. But it's just quite a stagey, fiddly thing. I think I actually... Oh, stop doing that. Go the other way, you idiot. No, I haven't put it on. Okay. Let's not hang about. Oh. All I can think about now is bloody gas engineers. What have you done? I've got the right... Let's see if I can find the other camera. Change my microphone. Get brushes and splish splash away. Well, at least the temperature's gone up, Chrissy.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it.
I'm had the heating on for weeks, for a couple of weeks.
No, I haven't had the heating on, but when you think I had all the doors and windows wide open.
Oh, of course, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
The whole house got so cold.
Yeah.
But no, I'm all right. I'm okay. I can layer up. I've got an electric heated throw. I can get under it in the evening. Need to.
Yeah, so we've got... I did a doodle yesterday, so we've got it's over that side, quite large, and these things. When I just briefly, I was looking at this yesterday, and I had a contemporary head on, and it turned. I thought, oh, if somebody was brave enough, they could turn that into fingers. Hand, or what, two fingers looking each way, or something like a hand coming out the water. Then I woke up, the dream had gone.
You're going to put Excalibur in there as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that's what crossed my mind as well. I thought we could have, but people like these sort of things.
Yeah, it's true. If you want to sell it,
it's a world a world full of weirdos.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's what I said. I was thinking about that earlier.
The children might not appreciate this big hand coming out of the sea.
Well, I admire Roger Dean's pictures, and that I'm a member of his Facebook group, and I used to do the his live videos and that during the lockdown period, and he does things like that, but he does it in a subtle way. He'll go on a visit to an island or Wales or something. He'll see a rock and he'll see something else in that rock, or a structure or a fissure or waterfalls. He uses those a lot. So nature's elements in nature, but with an undertone of something bigger. I suppose. Carol gone?
Yeah, she disappeared.
Yeah, she's getting Peter up, she said.
Nurse coming. Oh, we're a bunch, aren't we? Right. I was going to ask Carol what sort of sky to do. I'm using this Rivers Meat rough. Well, it's supposed to be not finished, but I reckon it's like biscuit, this stuff. I'm a bit worried. I put a bit of masking fluid on over the figures and that, thinking
give me a bit more freedom. And I remember that this paper is, as I say, it feels like it's got biscuits, like it's so dry, it's like a biscuit, and soaks up all the water. So I was thinking, I hope the masking fluid comes out. That was a mop brush. Use a mop, bit of water. I'm still stood up. And think about colour. I did, what did I do? A little bit of horizon blue, but so I'll whack it on. I don't know why. I'm going through a period of looking back at my picture and thinking, oh, it's all wishy-washy. It hasn't got enough strength and vibrance, and maybe it's, I don't know if it's time of year or what, but I'm having this internal confliction.
We're just
Sounds
being
painful.
dazzled by my acrylic ones.
Well, yeah.
Blinded.
No. So in the end, I just sort of, I don't know. It started the last couple of weeks, and once you got your paper wet, you can just do it. I've actually drawn a line where the horizon falls. I don't know why I did that. Well, that was interesting, isn't it? I had a bit of rose madder to that light blue. We'll get a grey sort of tinge. I've put some yellow in the front horizon. So anyway, I don't. It's gay abandon, really. I'm not. I've got no preconceived, contrived ideas on the sky. I just started with blue at the top, yellow at the bottom, and some yellow rose madder mix in the middle. See what happens. Beauty is, if you're not happy, because it's still damp, we can just quite easily just swish it off. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. I'm just going to drop in some dinky doodahs, shadowy bits. Think Midsummer Nights, have a dream. Just dab them in. It's a grey that you get from Algerian crimson, rose madder, any of those sort of crimsony colour, and cerulean blue, any of the lighter blues. You'll get a myriad. I don't like this bit in the middle, so I'm going to lift that off in a minute. It's overpower. Could even try introducing a little bit of blue down here as well. Don't know what that was. My computer just went.
How'd it go again?
I don't feel like it. I think somebody's messaged me on Facebook, so it makes all funny noises, doesn't it? To tell you that they're here. Whoa, that's bright. Didn't think of that, did you? Bit grey on it. Actually, I could leave that and produce and say that's going to be the I'll do it there as well. Go straight across. So we've got some sort of landy bits in the background. It's the Isle of Wight. The picture is for the lady or the person that dropped it it's supposed to be the Hudson River, which is New York, isn't it? Or over that way.
It is indeed.
The entrance, isn't it? I've just had a little bit of ordinary blue, trying to differentiate the grey. Rosemary, same thing, just a different blue added to the purple. And I'll just drop it in while it's wet and see what happens. I'm thinking imagination, really. Or is it, I don't care.
No, you could
I
always
do.
change
So,
that
well,
one.
no, I just
Put this
wanted to have,
back on it.
I just wanted to have a bit of variation on the theme. Can't go too dark though, can I? Could always add a little bit of green into the equation. Not neat out of the tube, but mix it into the other, into your grey. So it's the thing about watercolor. It's just the fun. Well, it's sort of fun. It's sort of challenge as well, isn't it? Letting the watercolor do some work, and you just pop in some paint and try and imagine that that's going to be. It'll look like something. What it's going to do? Get tissue in my hand. Use a flat brush, aka Charlie Evans, and lift out some of the bits that you're not too keen on. See if you can introduce some light. Just sort of twist your brush as well. Should be able to get some fluffy. There's just a few bits up here that I thought, that don't look. But as it dries back, it changes anyway completely, doesn't it? Because the water, because it's still fairly wet, it should run down and blend. Well, it will. If it don't, I'll get angry. And we've got that, still got the, just a sec, differentiate the horizon, so lift that off. I've got a pencil line there, so should be able to get, oh, I see. So there's a big pool of water on the edge of the paper that's decided to intrude on my lifting off. There you go. Just a 1-inch flat brush. I did it yesterday on that little tester, which is, it's up there. I did it yesterday with just using a flat brush. You just went, keep it going. You get some remarkably straight line. Trying to pull off any and sometimes what I tend to do, so I'll use the rigger and with some of that, you could call it a cloud mix. Let's just use the rigger and strengthen it here or there. Just add a few extra bits. Tops, isn't it? It's going to be like that here today, apparently. Thundery. thundery showers. Here we are in May and we're getting the April showers we should have had weeks ago. I don't know what's going on with him up there. But without in politics, I don't think I can cope anymore. All these anti-royalists getting angry about nothing.
Mhm.
We tried it. We tried it hundreds of years ago. We got rid of the king. We chopped his head off. Ironically, his name was Charles. We did it. And it didn't work. Poor old Ollie Cromwell, they dug him up and stuck his head on a pike for blooming months. God, there's me getting all umpty. I don't particularly like any of them either, but I ain't too keen on the substitution.
Better than Donald Trump. Imagine
Well,
if
yeah, you end up with a Donald Trump.
Donald Trump had been
Well, that's what happened here.
Yeah,
We had the Civil War, we had the Revolution,
yeah.
and nothing's changed. In the end, we had a puritanical, authoritarian government that screwed it up, and that's all that generally happens. If there was a country where it wasn't and it worked, we could use it as a model. Even Australia are content. They have votes and referendi. Now we'll leave it as it is at the moment. It ain't broke. We don't want to fix it. These things need to develop and evolve, not just sort of. Yeah, it's good to talk. Oh dear. One of the colours
Get it off your chest, Dave.
One of the things I have forgot to do. Oh, it's a sugar. Could I get away with it? I don't know. I wanted to do, but because I've got this flesh tone, I like to put it in the sky. Because that's talking, see, all that waffle. So I'm just going to use clean brush water, a neat flesh tone, and drop it in. It adds a nice neutral feel to it. The only reason I just remembered it is because I was gonna. Anyway, when you do yours, when you're thinking ahead of the game, you can add. I've said it thousands of times up to now. You can add a bit of flesh here and there. Say no more. Here we go. And the only reason I thought about it is because I wanted to put it on the beach section in what I remember. And the dune. So I've got a sand. I'm going to put them in the sand. And while I'm here, it's a bit like.
Oh, hello. Oh, yes, having a Zoom meeting at the moment. I wasn't expecting you until after 12. Yes, that's it. Can you leave it until just after 12?
I can't give you straight up 12 if I'll go and do something else now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, no, that's okay. You come now then. I'd rather you came and got it done. Looked at. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, don't cancel things like.
No, I might disappear in a minute because he's on his way. He wasn't supposed to be coming till after 12.
You don't have to cancel gas engineers.
No,
Don't
no,
mess with them.
exactly. No, No, so I'll probably disappear at
Could be
some
worse.
point.
There probably is. There's, yeah. They could be as rare as doctors. What I'm going to do while it's damp, so I'm going to put in a shadow now. Put a few lines where we think the water's edge is. It's that sort of shadowy tone, isn't it? Purple, crimson and light blue, or any blue. Put some in there. Might actually add a little bit of lighter colour to it. There you go. I tried to put in a detailed shadow in. I've done it loads of times and it's so difficult unless you've got a really spot on photo.
Those your grandchildren?
They are. Yeah, I Instagrammed the doodle I did yesterday to Emily and she was like, blimey, I think she said that's stunning.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, because Melanie and James go over to visit their dad, or Mel's dad, on Mondays, but I tend not to go. Not because because I'm ignorant, I suppose. But no, I like pottering, and I can potter really nicely when I like the house when it's on my own sort of thing. I've got loads of jobs around the house to do, so I didn't go. But I thought, well, I have to get ready for today anyway, so I did that doodle and Instagrammed it to Emily just to say I might not be there in physical, but I'm thinking of you, sort of thing, you know. Little softy, and I'm going to dry this off for a sec, quickly. You see this paper though? It's like blotting paper. The difference in the effect you get. I've done the same on this, but I've just done on that, and this has gone all blurry. So that's one of the things you have to contend with and learn to work with. I'm going to dry this bit here. I can paint this bit in the middle quickly. I don't want this to bleed in too much. You're all right. Underneath the arches. Cool, blimey. I know a song that's getting on my nerves, and I'm the one singing it. Flipping it. I'm going to make this a bit damp now. Damp and dry. I can actually see just here there's a patch of paper, even though it's had water on it, it's just gone soak the water in. Right, think up some colours. I'll do what I'm going to put some flesh on. Where's it gone? There's my palette. It's over here. Just try and get some sort of. I think for me, just lately, the flesh tone is more use to me than the yellow. You can add it. Bit of blue, I think, somewhere in the water. You can add it, and it as an undercolor as well, as if you paint underneath it, get like a little glow. Ooh, straight edge. Yeah. The masking fluid caught the brush, and that made it go up. Look for some greys, any bits in your palette really that if you've done it on the sky, the colours that you've used on the sky have to be all right for anywhere else, because the sky's all encompassing. Good thing you're using a flat brush is you can do wide expanses with the wide part and then turn it on its edge, and you've got like a nice needly edged. You can tell this paper the way it's. I'm going to use it anymore. I think there's another picture underneath. That's why I used it. Someone else said they were doing that. Yes, last week. I think it was Carol. Flip it over and use the other side. I think I'll mix up a little bit more shadowy. So, I thought I might. There. It's amazing, isn't it? And sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't, put some raw sienna in it. Sorry, burnt sienna. That'll take. That'll give you a nice sky tone. There you go. Wait a minute. Get the tube of Terry Harrison's special shadow tone. Whack that in. I'm going to sit down for a sec. Now I've done all the hard work. So I think. Woo! That's a big wave. Oh dear. Different paper, different effect. I like. I've got a bit of dry there, so I'm going to leave that. But you can lift it off if you want to, just gently. Offload your brush somewhere else, whether it's here or there. That's a nice bit. You can use a bit of that. It's just a bit of a shadowy colour there. Just put it on the brush and diddle it around. I haven't got a lot on the brush. I'm just keeping going. But I did that bit and I've just used the same brush to add some more interesties. There's a bit much then. I went a bit. This is a sable brush. Don't put it on. If you get a line, pop, stagger it. So do a bit, miss a bit, do a bit, miss a bit. Then later on, you can add, using the rigger, put some even darker bits on. And then that will give it more, even more of a wave fill. So you've got the same colour, but if you add a bit of blue to it, underneath the orange, that'll make it darker. You can show off, put a bit of burnt umber in. Give it a real dark edge. Then with the with the rigger, you can just put it on the top and let the water, My hand's not straight steady today. Let the water do a bit of the work. Only thing I have forgot, well, I'm conscious of, put a bit here as well. Clean water. Just let it. Put a straight line and then squiggle it left to right. With clean water. See if you can get it to look like a shadow. It's the way I do. It doesn't make a, because I'm going to spatter it with the toothbrush later on anyway, so which will take a bit. See this, how this paper is so absorbent. I put dark on there, and you can see it's gone, boom, just spread everywhere. The wallpaper has this trait. That's why, like, so do I. Putting blobs of paint all over the sky, but it all has this trait of drying and absorbing water at different levels. Hence the reason it's a good idea to get used to one paper and stick with it. Probably needs a bit more burnt umber in that. I'll put a bit there. I've got my horizon thing here, so just sticking with the same colour. I could do a little bit definition. More water, needs to be looser. Same old watercolour thing. Line of strongish colour. Flick of water and soften it down and let it blend itself into the picture. Once you've got some water on it, obviously you can add quite a bit. Careful, don't want a tree coming out of his ear. I do. As I say, I have put a pencil line across, so I've got a rough idea of where the horizon straight. It's not strictly necessary because, but it just gives you an additional bit of confidence, really. I've just noticed that what I've done is I put a line. There's a secret. Just going to do it while it's done. Hopefully it won't blur too much. Just going to put a very fine red line then. That's going to be like a little lighthouse in the distance. That's thoughtful of me. Add a bit there. There we go. Let's dry that off. And then get rubbing. Oh, before I do, that's that nice, savoury, soft brush. Clean. Just a bit of clean water. Repeat what I did on the figures. Find a bit of grey neutral colour and just drizzle it. Put a line here. I don't think it needs a lot. Bit of dark blue, brown, I mean, burnt umber. That's on the edge there. Grab it in. Might as well do it now. While it's damp. So want it to look just an underpainting, really. Before I hit it with some flesh tone, right off. Nearly there. Oh. Yeah, and what's this mask and cleared off. Before I get burnt. Whoa. Cool, that's it.
Came off all right.
Excellent lifting up. Well, that was hot. That wasn't. That does work though. Heating it up. What I'm looking for is a nice rigor. And just mix up a bit of flesh tone. That's the red and crimson and yellow I was using on the sky. I've just added a little bit of neutral flesh into it. And just gonna try and remember where it's a bit darker than I was using yesterday, but this paper is so much more absorbent than the Langton one that was in that pad. I'm kind of hoping that it'll sort of fade quite a lot. If I remember rightly, on the photo, the only flesh bit was Ted's ear. Somewhere around there. And his neck. I think it's his neck. Or shirt. Not sure, really. Yeah, that'll do. Let that dry off. Get the bigger brush back. What are you using? Sticking with that fleshy tone. So I'm going to sit down and concentrate and think. I'm just looking at the sort of pier things, aren't they? It's a sort of greeny pier things, aren't they? Put a dab here, bit of a dab there. To be quite honest, I'm not even sure why I'm putting the, why I've continued with them, because once you put the figures in, I was thinking yesterday, I thought, well, earlier, is it really, do I need them now? Have I changed the composition to the extent where I don't even need the growing things, the bits of wood? And it's in my mind that it might change the composition ridiculously. Big blob of paint, it's just raw sienna. It's more water, really. I think if I was doing this more leisurely, I'd probably just do one stick at a time. Next colour, burnt umber. Wow. No, I tell a fib. Raw burnt sienna. It's always a nice woody colour.
Yeah.
Drop that in.
It's a story.
You've done the light. Remember, it's always the light behind the dark. You can leave some white bits if you want. You can just drizzle the darker burnt sienna on top of it. And then mix up some real darks, which is burnt umber and blue, and drop that in on the top as well. Just have a think about that. If you use the rigger, you can sort of control it a little bit, how much you drop in. For your own doubt, just wipe it off the edge like I do. Thinking out loud. Got a long way to go yet. We've got those figures to do, which are fiddly squat. Hey. Yeah, sort of. Just add a bit more of a shadowy side on the left, I think. They will dry and look a bit more rocky.
Gotta go. Bye bye.
Bye.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Nightmare. That sounds like it is here when the someone knocks on the door. Frodo goes ballistic. A bit more of that raw sienna. Can't make up my mind. Just going to put a drop of it on the bottom of each one. Raw sienna, clean water, and put clean water underneath. If I can get it to drizzle down. Some dark, drop that in as well. I can define an edge to it. I'll have to let it dry, then we'll flick it off. Underneath the arches. Good thing is I've got the right tones for the figures, I think. I was using a different brush yesterday. Oh, there it is. It's a more of a pointy one. Everyone's got one of these. Sort of a number 6 pointy brush. Start at the top and work my way down. Ooh, he's not ginger. He's totally different colour out of that. But you need to put an undercolour, a warmer colour underneath. That'll do. Before you hit it with the dark. I'm going to start with this figure over here because I'm left-handed. Mix up some more grey tone, burnt sienna, and a blue. Gives me a grey, or an off blue, I'd call it. I really should be looking at my own picture from yesterday. Look off the water, just clean water, soften it down. That's the top of his jacket. I think it's bluer actually, but that's okay. And his jeans are a wishy-washy, really light blue.
It was apologising for the cost of the shopping.
Clean water. And I've got a little bit of wishy-washy.
Still came
It's more blue over there in the palette from earlier. I can drop that in. Not worried about.
And Carly. He was trying to blame me for Coke. I'm sure the Carling.
The strength. I want it to be really weak because we're going to add some darks on it later. That makes it stand out, I think. The other coat is. Funny thing is, I did this rough doodle yesterday, and I cannot, for the life of me, remember how I did it. So, which is amazing. Unless you write down notes, you just following the next day or the next minute, you start totally from fresh, which makes
is that 12?
sort of no sense at all, but
so I rest my case.
it does make sense
Everything's gone.
because it makes the next picture you do reflect the freshness or the colour palette that you're using. I'm waffling there, but I'm just thinking out loud because that's how I'm thinking as I'm painting it.
It's just scary at the moment.
It's a nice.
I mean, mine will last me for.
I'm just using the tones out of the
Whereas his is only going to last a week.
palette. A wiggle of the brush here and there. Probably have to lift a bit of that pink off there. It's a bit strong, isn't it? Or put a bit of white over the top. Leave a few bits of white because they're blue. Now think about. Still got the grey colour up here. And God knows where. So I'm going to drop that to his head.
I couldn't remember what the one in Western was.
Hopefully I'll get
That was little.
some sort of a
Didn't come over for ages afterwards.
facial expression.
These are his two grandsons.
In the same
Oh, right.
colour. Let's hold that brush now. Using the rigger, we can add some creases into his jeans. Just to get it started. What I did I haven't got the original picture in it. Is decide the inside of the trousers are always darker, aren't they? Don't be a sort of a shadow, so what I do a sec is on obviously on mute. Okay. Just saves editing time. Right, what was I? Do Billy's Teddy's head. Oh, looks my brush now.
Yeah, he's turned it into
Little ones. Under there.
or sunrise.
Hey ho, we're not on one brush pony, are we?
Sea as opposed to a river.
No, definitely not. Yeah, Teddy's hair is quite dark, if I recall.
Or meerkats.
What's going to be in a minute? It's a bit more
Could be
burnt umbery, darker, not black, but a darker colour. Want it strong.
Doesn't look quite nice. You can give it to his grandchildren. Stick it on their bedroom.
Lift it off, and he's looking inside.
Just tell you quickly.
The reason I put the
Not strong enough to put it on.
the lighter colour on his head up there was just to give it a little bit of a.
Yeah,
When it dries,
get weaker. Well, you could, or whether
the
they've
paint
got blood pressure up on the
underneath it'll give it a little bit of a glow.
pressure up and, it's harder to put on, I'm not sure.
Trying to do
Between the two sides, you can have them as individual units.
the right brush now. It's a bit
Try lubricating it and sorting it out.
most expensive sable brush on the planet,
Which is half the pressure.
and it's not as good as you think.
I couldn't extend the handle.
It's wibbly.
I just couldn't
Just
do it.
leave that for a minute.
No.
He's got jeans on in it as well, but I've got to differentiate the top from the bottom. So I'm going to add some
I'm going to go on the internet and look them up.
the dark.
What the instructions are. It's steel on steel bearing, which is totally not designed.
Make his top darker. That gives me an option of just quickly. Don't mind those bits there because we can just say, well, that's just lights, the light reflecting, isn't it? Let's go for sky blue. It's got two legs.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. The gas
You're
man is
back.
here. I'm here. The gas man is here. And I'm feeling extremely fearful because he said he's going to do it now and it's not going to cost me anything.
Oh, wow. Brilliant.
Oh, so
Well, I did say I'd have a word with him upstairs, didn't I?
thank you very much.
See, he does
Yeah.
listen to me sometimes. Oh,
Oh,
That's
I was so
good.
convinced I was going to have a new boiler and it was going
Yeah.
to cost me thousands. But
oh, well done. That
Yeah,
is-
it's good.
what I've got to do now is get an electric cooker. But that's a few
Well.
hundred, not a few thousand.
Yeah.
Or I'll
can
get a
live with
second
that.
hand. I'll get a second-hand one.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So I know in the lounge, letting him get on with it. It might get nosy.
Well, restores our faith, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Oh.
goodness for that.
I was going to say give him a hug from us, but better not.
No. No. And Kathy's.
I'm going to have to go now, Dave. Sorry. Sorry to interrupt. I'll
Oh,
see
bye,
you next
Pauline.
week. Okay, bye. Glad you had
Bye.
good
Have a
news.
good week.
Well, I'll
and
send
you.
the video
Bye.
out, so you'll be all right.
Okay,
Take care.
thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Kathy's just messaged me. She's just looked at the perfect flat down on Bournemouth Road. And yeah, she's just hoping again. He said he'll definitely let her know at the end by the end of the week whether
Oh.
they've got it or not.
Oh, imagine. Well, let's
She
hope
said,
these.
oh, please. Yeah, it's 2 bedrooms, separate kitchen, lounge, bathroom, patio onto communal gardens. And it's in their price range, bus stop outside the door and a train station 5 minutes walk away.
Blimey.
Yeah, so hopefully this, if they get this, that'll be brilliant.
Yeah, well, we'll all say our little prayers again.
Yeah, yeah, like she said, whichever one, if any of them, whichever one comes back and it first, they'll have to go with, because they can't afford to lose.
Yeah.
They got, you know, but this one would be perfect, absolutely perfect.
Well, as we say, we can only pray.
Yeah, yeah,
Whoops.
yes.
Well
Meanwhile,
done.
back at the ranch.
Well, I've done, all I've done here is I've mixed up some of burnt umber and blue. Got a really nice dark tone, and I'm just flicking it around, trying to decide where, where, or should there be any reflections in that. Well, because I'm making it up or amending, tweaking someone else's photo, it's not an easy task, but once you get that rigor in your arm, you can do these things. Just using it's so subtle, isn't it? You just use a bit of.
I love that
bit of
little
black.
boy, especially. He was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
A little bit of rigor work, but it works really well with the when you're mixing up that sort of shadowy tone at the beginning. Burnt sienna, bit of that blue. You get that. It's. I've gone a bit purpley on it now, but you keep working on it. Burnt sienna, whichever way you go. If you have burnt sienna, it'll go grayer, but still with a hint of that light red in it. Then when you add it to the, so I've used that as a little shadow bit here, there, and everywhere. Then later on, when you mix up the dark burnt umber and blue, which is my standard shadow, well, dark finishing off color, you put it on that over the top. It just blends it so well. It suddenly, you've got a shadow with a bit of information, you know, a bit more detail on it. And it's really good. That I reckon this area here I could make look more interesting using the soft brush that I've lost. I keep losing brushing. Oh no, there it is. Probably do a really good job of that. As I say, very often painting or watercolor, it's more about disguising or toying with bits that you're not too sure how they should go. That's a bit damp, but if you get the thing, I'm just adding a little bit of the blue that's come from the sky just along across there. And that gives it a feel that there's a puddle of water there. Tide hasn't gone completely out. I'll extend it by going up to there. Clean water.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
that dries off, that'll look really good, I reckon. But you can do it. See, I've put a dark piece of this burnt umber and blue with the rigger there. Just by using clean water, it sort of trickles itself into a real three-dimensional feel to it. I'm not far off, am I? I think I've done a good job there. Apart from that bit in the sky, but I'm going to attack that in a minute. I'm going to get some tissue. Oh, look at this. I've still got a roll of 3B toilet. This was supposed to be loo paper for the pandemic for poor people. It's about 2 inches wide. I think it's the stuff they nicked out off of hotels to help the needy. They've given it. I got a couple of cardboard boxes full of home essentials to help me through the pandemic. And one of them was rolls of this. What was the other thing? Oh, loads of shower gel, little pots of the stuff that you and soap, little round pieces of soap that they've obviously nicked from Premier Inns or something, or got donated. For a start, I've never used shower gel in my life. Something I'm not a fan of.
Ooh, I'm hoping that I'll be able to use some shower gel later.
I use soap and water. Petery
Yeah,
soap, I use that. But I don't want to smell that.
No,
I
like
just
shower.
look at the ingredients and think there's no way I'm putting that on my bloody body.
No.
It's about
Well,
4 miles long.
you get a vegan one, it's all right.
But I like the smell of people. I don't want to smell out of something that someone
You
else
wouldn't like-
tells me is acceptable.
You wouldn't like the smell of this person for a couple of days without any running hot water.
Well, I think in your case, I'll extend the rule. Yes, a little bit of shower gel would probably help.
No, it's not
Well,
much
I don't
fun
know.
trying to
No, I'm
wash in the bathroom.
I'm
stink.
stopping there. I'm not saying you stink, Chris.
I know.
Smell
Oh, that's
lovely.
I like that.
Well, you won't. I'm going to spoil it now.
Why? What are you going to do now?
Well, I don't like the sky,
Oh,
so I'm going to get me doodah. It's just that bit there that's annoyed me. So I don't know. I ain't got a clue what to do with it. Oh, I know. I said earlier, didn't I? Flesh. Put some flesh in. Just give a light wash of flesh. Just to prove to myself. I think what it needs, or what it would help. It's not, to me, it's okay, but it's not got the, because I pride myself in my skies. It hasn't got the right balance. I can't explain it, but it hasn't got the balance that I'd like to see. But Who knows? I said I was going to change it. I wasn't joking, was I? Heavenly. This is the sky that should have been on that picture of Jesus last week. My son. There you go. We'll let that dry off. It'll got some not. I just need some more, but it's a balance thing. So hey, here's a funny. I am going to get political now. Well, I remember on the BBC news page this morning it said they want to reduce 15 million GP appointments by getting people to go to the pharmacy. And on Radio 4 yesterday morning, when I was walking the dog listening to the news, there was a woman on there and from the Pharmacy Association, and there was a pharmacist on there saying that we can't cope because the government aren't giving us, we can't pass the new expenses over to people. So pharmacies are closing like thousands a year. So the next day, the government say we're going to use pharmacies. You think, oh, right. Did anybody listen to the news yesterday saying they were all shutting down? Oh dear. There, that's my rant over today. I've had quite, oh, that's all right now. I'm happy with that. And because everything's so flipping wet, got a few extra only bits at the back. And when it's dry, I can scratch a few extra bits on the waves. One thing I always tend to do, if I can find a dry tissue, not that one, is once I do that spatter in, think about which way the reflections are, and I just run it over. Just don't put any weight on it, just use the tissue and it'll make all the little pebbles have a little shadow one way or the other. And then you can spend 3 hours going over each pebble to make it darker in certain spots and one thing and another. I was hoping that was a bit of fluff, and it was. Oh, come on, get me thing. It's been a jolly old morning. Look at that. Good old Christy. There you go.
That's very nice.
It's not perfect, but we're living in a non-perfect environment. Framed up, but it is the paper. It makes it. It may be not coming over the screen, but it looks and feels like it's soaked into the paper more than the Langton one does. It's got a better. I think it's Langton. Oh, it's Bockingford, but even so, it's got a nicer. Well, it has got sized paper. This ink sized. So it's like blotting paper a bit more, but it's okay. Different feel, different what's it. And I've got that watercolor, that spray that I'll spray it, so it won't even need a frame. I've deliberately, in a way, mistakenly, I suppose, used that flesh tone that was a bit dark. So we can, because I thought it would fade into the paper, but it hasn't. So being watercolor, we can quite easily lift the fiddle a bit off. And this cuff there, I'll just make it a bit darker, I think. I'll lift his finger off later, a bit off of that. That's the only thing that I'm probably gonna muck about with on it. The sole of the shoe. Now it's dried off. I can have a little bit of tone on it. That'll do. Don't usually do feet. Right.
That could be the postman.
It's a lively little fella, isn't he? There you go. Over to you guys.
Yes.
I quite like that. It looks like one of my paintings. I'd say that was a Dave Harvey
Yeah, it looks like a Dave Harvey.
from way back. I think the Teddy's jacket looks a bit too blue, but can add a bit of extra in it, extra shadow. Yeah, but the balance, the composition isn't awful. There's subtle things going on, and it'll dry back nice. Yes, well done. I'll give it a 5.
Very nice.
Remember that.
That's lovely.
Well, and I'm on good time. We'll get Steph's packed lunch in. Sainsbury's has been. The dog's had his hair done. The lady's gone. Chrissy's got her boiler sorted.
Fingers crossed.
What day is it today? Tuesday.
All day.
Ah, so I haven't got music tomorrow, so I'm not going to pool.
You know.
So tomorrow is chill out. No, I probably won't, because I've got deliveries coming. And James has bought a new desk, new computer system,
Wow.
and all this stuff. Grandad gave him some extra funding, so I've got to move all that
Just
out
have
of
a
his
big
room.
sense. I saw it on the marketplace.
Yeah, I put the desk up there, but no one's come in for it, so it's quite a large one as well.
Yeah.
So what I might do is switch it for the one in the log cabin, and because that'll be the one in the log cabin is smaller, and it'll be easier to take out the tip. I won't have to saw up bits of wood.
There it is.
You can never sell them, Chrissy. They're really hard to sell desks. People just buy them quick,
Yeah.
what's it, that Swedish firm or whatever it is. And
IKEA.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
So many people bought them in lockdown, didn't they?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I missed all of that.
It's a good one.
Well,
Yeah.
I say I'll send the.
Oh, don't worry.
Recording on it.
Yeah,
I don't
never
need to.
mind.
I'll send. What's going on here? More. Where am I? You're here today. Yes, I know. Ah, there you go. Underneath the arches. Underneath the arches. Dream my dreams away. Underneath the arches. On cobble streets I lay. Every night you'll find me tired and warm, happy when the daylight comes creeping, heralding the dawn, sleeping when it's raining, sleeping when it's fine, trains rattling by.
bye-byes. Oh yeah, it's time for bye-byes. Archie's going to sleep. Yeah, all right.